Hmm.
Okay, Mr. Bennett. So you were telling me about. I want to go back to your mother.
Okay.
Who is your mother? Where does she come from? Like as far as the city and town, and then what was her parents' maiden name? What's her maiden name rather?
My mother's maiden name was Bynum. Her father moved from Georgia to Lake City, Florida. And then he remarried, and his wife lived in Gainesville, Florida. So my mother was raised by the two of them until they divorced. And my mother moved to St. Petersburg. I don't know exactly when. But see, another thing, in my generation, they didn't really tell us a lot about the history. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the history wasn't something that they wanted us to know. You know, they were in a period in their lives that they had not seen before by the time I got 15 years old. So they wanted the present to be our life as opposed to the past, what they had looked at, they endured a lot. So I never had problems with racial issues. I never had any problems in my community because it was all black, it was all self-contained. Everybody there were migrants from other places who had had the same kind of structure. You know, farmlands, slightly suppressed environments. But I never was brought up to feel that I was inadequate in any way. You know, one of the things that I'll never forget is going to Webb City, and my mother had told me before I left home, they always told us, you gotta go to the bathroom, go before you leave home. If you want something to eat, eat before you leave home. Don't get down there and start telling me nothing right. I was in Webb's, and I told my mother, I said, I gotta go to the bathroom. And she said, well, go to the one that says color. I said, okay. Went to the color bathroom and let's go. I never felt a sense of racism because my mother told me to go to that bathroom. That's where it ended. It had nothing to do with a race. I looked at it like, okay, we got our own bathroom. So racism and stuff like that has a lot to do with the perception of the person that exposes you to life. She didn't expose us that way. We were more spiritual, devout. My mother was ardent Christian. She did every area in the church, the choir, taught Sunday schools, and in the food ministry, everything. I came up in the church. I wasn't, you wouldn't know it at the time, but I was in the choir. You know, I was an usher. I was a senior. I was assistant chief usher at Bethel Community Church for a while. And
Which church?
Bethel Community Baptist Church. Second Bethel was called back then. And then from there to Mount Zion, Progressive, and now I'm at the Ship Missionary, Friendship Missionary Baptist Church on 31st Street. So my spiritual foundation was based on the fact that one consistent thing I saw in my mother's behavior throughout my entire life was her praying all the time. And I never saw the problem that we had. I saw the solution to my mother's prayer. You know what I mean? So I didn't come up knowing how hard it was. My sisters knew, because women get a different perspective when they have a mother than a boy who has a mother but he doesn't have a father. And women suffer the same as men. The only difference with women is women become more self-reliant. You know, rather than having a psychological dependency on a man, they see a woman do it alone. And so they don't have any fears when it comes down to, or they have limited fear when it comes down to they're making it or not making it dependent on anybody other than themselves. And that's how my family was. All of my siblings had a younger brother, a younger sister, and an older sister. We came up knowing that our outcome was based on what we put into it. We looked at our mother. My mother raised us. She bought a home on her own by herself, never remarried. You know, we had a normal life without a man. So with a woman, it's a good foundation to understand is you want one. It's better to have one. That's why Jesus made both of us so we could have each other.